Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. Last time, we processed some of the reveals regarding Aaliyah's true parentage, talked about skirmishes at internal level, and this time, well, speaking of internal level, we're going to put our high internal level to good use by taking on, in my opinion, the hardest paralogue in the game. A place of significance to Emblem Leif. And yes, it's quite fitting that the one representing Thracia would be the hardest paralogue in the game, but, I don't actually think Thracia, I personally think Thracia's difficulty is overrated, except for the chapter that this is referencing. So it's totally appropriate that this paralogue is this brutal.
Something about this place is really off.
Yes indeed it is. To give you an idea, the pre-map, story sequence of this chapter in Thracia basically mentions that this river is about to run red with blood. It's not kidding.
It appears to be the River Thracia. Quite similar, at least.
Is this someplace in your world?
In looks, it is quite close enough to a stretch of ground where I once stood. The River Thracia was a beautiful, broad river, and it was the site of much bloodshed.
I can't imagine someplace as serene as this turning into a battlefield.
This is where I faced the genius tactician Sias. Some thought him a hero.
Others thought of him as an incredibly annoying boss who has, I forget exactly how many leadership stars he had. It's above 10, I think. He basically gave the entire enemy army around plus 50 to hit and avoid just by existing.
Reinhardt, a powerful man said to be the Crusader Thrud reborn, was there as well.
And of course, even in a game that he's not even in, they can't reference Thracia without mentioning Reinhardt. They just had to.
It was a difficult battle. Many were the moments when I thought defeat was at hand.
This is particularly true when I first played this chapter, where the only reason why I won is because Reinhardt took mercy on Leif and captured him instead of killing him, which lowered Reinhardt's stats enough that I was able to beat Reinhardt.
So why does this place look like that?
I do not know for certain. I sense a mighty force emanating from here. This must be the trial appointed to you.
This mighty force is emanating from the ballistas here.
Trial?
I want you to fight me here. If you overcome that trial, our bond will grow stronger.
And by that you mean we have access to higher levels of Vantage, which is basically all you really want with Leif's trial.
That bond will bring with it power we cannot do without if we are to survive the battles ahead.
Well, yeah, I guess Vantage would be nice to have on Amber.
Winning a battle against you is my trial? Understood.
Good. Victory is your only way forward.
I was about to say that, is Leif, canonically a pretty good tactician because he does have leadership stars, and then I realized that literally in Thracia, 2 of his leadership stars come from his tactician allies. He gets one from August and one from Dorius, and if either of them are not present, he loses that leadership star associated with them. I still think it's so funny that Radiant Dawn brought back leadership stars, but since they only work if you're the actual leader of an army, Kanagas has 5 leadership stars that do absolutely nothing. But anyway, again, we can only bring 11 units. What is it with the chapters lately and us only being able to bring 11, huh? But okay, so let's cut to the chase and talk about the main reason why this paralogue is so infamous. These ballistas. They not only, they unlike regular ballistas, they only have 3 shots, but they give attack plus 15 and hit plus 80. Which means that this sniper here, so I believe that's 39 physical attack listed. I'm pretty sure that's just, at base with, the silver bow and your strength stat. So, that's an extra plus 15 on top of that, so your attack power is already in the 50s, and your hit rate is, basically guaranteed. And, there are 2 of them. Also, they have that much range, and those aren't the only ballistas on this map. We also have a ballista here. Also, this one's carrying gold, but good luck getting it. Yeah, look how much of the map this covers, too. And, I can see them as the cannon icons. A ballista there, and a ballista here. So, these ballistas are essentially Leif's collection of thermonuclear warheads, and we'll see how we deal with them. But also, Leif himself is surrounded by a whole army of mage knights. In fact, I think Leif, is this where... No, I seem to remember Reinhardt was lower down on the map, but I know this squad is representing Reinhardt's squad. There's also a fabrication here. It has a silver sword on hard mode, but on maddening it also has a tome. Also, we have enemies with status staves. I remember there being quite a lot of status staves in this map in Thracia 2, including one here. Now, this one I'm pretty sure represents Syas, a high priest with silence and carrying gold. And also, speaking of weird references, so this general here represents the Baron that was guarding this castle in the original Thracia, and Barons in the Yggdrasil games could use staves and magic. So this guy has a bunch of items in his inventory he can't even use. I love how it rubs it in by saying, cannot use, wrong unit type. Yeah, he even has 2 health bars. In fact, that guy has 2 health bars as well. You do not need to fight either of them. They're just like the Julius and Ishtar analogs in Sigurd's Paralog. Who you do need to fight, though, is old Leafy Boy himself. I love this. S-sword, S-staff, S-axe, S-bow. He doesn't even have his master bow, though. Which is kind of weird. He's a backup unit, so he will be able to chain attack you. And he has adaptable, so he'll switch weapons to counter whatever you're using. Arm shield ++, vantage ++, and he can use quadruple hits. The thing that I actually recently realized about adaptable is, that's how bosses worked in Genealogy and Thracia. If they had, like, weapons with different ranges, they would automatically switch weapons based on what you attack them with. So, like, if a boss, say, had a 1-range axe and also a bow, they would always switch to the bow if you tried to attack them from 2 range. So, yeah, that's kind of a cool reference, but anyway. So, the thing about this map that's kind of cool, but also kind of painful, is that we've got a bunch of very weak, and by very weak, I mean level 20, but unpromoted for this point is still very weak, enemy lance fighters who are all carrying some quite useful items, especially that speed wing. Okay, yeah, you have Drobble's Silence Staff, and you have a Magic Tonic. The problem is, they're not going to try and fight us. Their first priority is to run away, and pursuing them into this horde of ballistas, that's going to get rough. And we have Fracture and Freeze Staff to deal with too, so I might actually need to break out Headlong Rush again on my characters, unless I forgot to de-equip that on Lapis for some reason, and I believe yep, Louis still has it too. Okay. Of course, though, Lapis cannot run into range of these ballistas unless I Bonded Shield her. So even, like, generals are not great at taking these ballista shots, but Bonded Shield is an option. My main worry is just that Aaliyah will get splattered by the ballistas. But I think if I surround Aaliyah with low defense characters, then there's a chance that I'll be able to, like, tempt them into attacking there. I think I'll try that. My other potential recourse is to, I believe this 3rd ballista is manned on maddening mode as well, is to use warp or rewarp to just send a bunch of people down here. A fun thing that I also sometimes like doing is using the entrap staff to pull the snipers off their ballistas. But okay, inventory-wise, I definitely want to give Jean, if I have a spare freeze staff. Yeah, here we go. Because I feel like, yeah, I like freeze on somebody with Divine Pulse. It's a little annoying that Aaliyah has to start that far back, though. Now, admittedly, there are a lot of generals in this map, and Anna is pretty good at taking out generals with that Radiant Bow of hers. Maybe I can afford to leave Temera behind here. In fact, if I am leaving Temera behind, I can switch over Yunaka to Sigurd's ring.
Sigurd!
Leave it to me.
And then I can do what I promised to do, and give Anna Celica.
Celica! Yes!
Because yeah, it's actually a surprisingly good ring for her. It buffs both strength and magic. Alright, let's get wrecked by ballistas!
I will stand my ground. No running, no hiding. Now, come at me!
That's a little ironic considering that Leif's game was the one to introduce the escape objective. Okay, that's a really nice intro.
Go ahead.
So I'm trying to see whether or not,
Emblem! Engage!
if I engage with Sigurd, I can snipe one of them down without getting into ballista range. I think I can. Yeah, so the
Look what
music...
you made me do.
Okay, wow.
If this love is a crime,
Okay, that was just the silent staff. The one that I really want to go for is the speed wing, but that is well and truly covered by ballistas.
anytime.
Which is definitely very problematic. Speaking of problematic, you actually do pretty solid damage to Lapis even without, but you one-round you with the javelins, that's fine. Yeah, even though you are an unpromoted enemy is what I meant to say.
Sorry about that.
The graphics of this map are pretty nice, but yeah, the music here is just another one of those songs that's basically a straight remake of a song from the original game. This one is based on, pretty much just Leif's theme. I forget exactly what this song is called. It might just be called, like, Leif's Army in Search of Victory, Leif. But it's definitely, like, Leif's theme, and sadly...
I'll do my best.
I feel like it's easily the most memorable, like, probably the, like, one of the only standout songs to me in Thracia. So this is...
I'm ready.
Okay, so this is a bit of an issue that I have with
smell
Thracia.
gold.
You know how I've said
I am
that
ready
Binding
to
Blade
serve.
is like my least favorite soundtrack? It's like the
Let
only
us be off.
soundtrack in the series that I consider outright bad. Well, Thracia is the one soundtrack that I consider nearly... completely unmemorable. Wow, you guys have a long range on your staffs. Well, that is what Restore Staff Aaliyah is for, I guess, but, yeah, I'm pretty sure those staffs don't normally have 1 to 15 range. Yeah, that Silent Staff, there's only 1 to 6, and my own Freeze Staffs, I can check, are 1 to 6, yeah. These are special status staffs, because Thracia, yeah. I guess it actually does kind of fit that the Thracia map is giving enemies, like, super unfair mechanics, because that is just, like, one of the main issues that I have with Fire Emblem Thracia 776 is that it's, like, it's not exactly, like, well, again, like, I feel like its difficulty is overrated, but it does have a lot of really just stupid mechanics that are pretty much just, like, that affect the enemy more than they do you, like, more positively. Like the fact that, the standard Dark Magic tome inflicts poison, but when you get a Dark Mage, your version of that tome doesn't inflict poison. There's just a lot of things like that that are always just, like, that just felt very, very questionable to me. But okay. Speaking of questionable... So my plan here... Because ordinarily, like, this would be a terrible, terrible idea. Oh, and that's a Brave Bow. I cannot get into... Oh, but your range is just... yeah. I can't get into range of that Brave Bow, because that is kind of going to circumvent, Aaliyah. You still have Hold Out even without engagement with Roy, though, so that's important to know. Can I freeze anybody important? I can freeze you. It's really the, Speedwing that I want to freeze most of all. But my plan is to engage and bondage
Lend me your strength.
Like, on Maddening, these ballistas two-shot a fully trained Louis. That's how bad they are. And then if I move you in a little closer... So yeah, even Louis is going to take a lot of damage. But I suppose maybe I can afford to expose him to one of them. Just right now, I'm kind of hoping and praying that... I wonder if I'll be able to, like, warp Ragnarok with Anna. I don't really want to do that, though, because the ballistas are kind of at the point where they might even, like, one-shot her. Okay, well, that's one thing.
Watch out!
Okay, yeah, I kind of wish I was able to forge up a little bit more might on that, but yeah, the bondage shield only blocks one hit. Okay, who's this going for? On Lapis! Okay, good, that should get bondage shield. And now, the other one is gonna go probably on Ivy? Yeah, no, it's on Lapis again, okay. So that's good, like, the AI, like, if the AI was smart, it would target Aaliyah. Silence is fine, I can still bondage shield. Oh, but I can't Why didn't you do that before the sniper attacked her? But yeah, I can't use restore now. Yeah, I completely forgot about those long-range status stubs. Yeah, this paralog is pretty vicious. Because already, you guys are starting to make headway on running away. So, like, what's the play here? Do I either, I mean, Ivy could definitely take the restore staff and use it, but that feels like a little bit of, like, a waste, I don't know. But it might be my only chance of stopping that Speedwing from getting away. And whatever Aaliyah does, he has to Bondage Shield again. So, Bondage Shield. Give Restore Staff. Of course, I can also Restore Staff Aaliyah, but
Thanks a lot.
I definitely want you to be unfrozen. You're still Bondage Shielding, which means Lapis can head down here and take you out. Otherwise, Brave Bow versus Ivy would not end well.
Allow me.
I should learn from you.
Okay. I am in range of at least one of those snipers this turn. But if anything, I kind of rather kill these. Yeah, another reason why I like using Entrap here is with Micaiah, you can actually pull the freeze and the sniper away. Which might be something I'll do with you in the convoy soon. But yeah, for now, I definitely need to... I no longer have double avoid in these tiles, which is important to remember. Because she'll be ranging out of Chain Guard if she goes that far. If only one of the ballistas can hit her, it should be okay. But yeah, the trickiest part of this map, by far, well, actually there's two of them. There's the ballistas and there's actually getting this Speedwing. Suppose I'm sort of okay if I miss the Pure Water. Is that still ballista range? I think it's still ballista range. It is. Yeah, that's still pretty rough. But I can get somebody else adjacent to Aaliyah, though. Probably better if it's Clan. Just because I foresee him potentially being useful later on in this deadly ballista run. Of course, there is also the possibility of summoning doubles.
Emblem.
Or Astrostorm. I don't trust this to kill the free... Oh, it looks like it actually does kill the freeze enemy. And if that's the case... So yeah, there's Fracture, Freeze, and Silence down there. And that's Freeze. I actually just realized I am really dumb. I probably should have done this from turn 1. Then I would have... Well, I mean, at least I am showing the usefulness of Restore Styles, but yeah, this would have been way better to do on turn 1. This is like, yeah, I know like Alcaris isn't exactly the best user of Wind, but I do like the 20 range Astrostorms. Okay.
To get a strong ground until no one can
Good riddance, Freeze Staff. Yeah, there were a lot of other mechanics in Thracia that I definitely feel were pretty biased against the player. It's a bit of an like the fact that healing staves. I think you need to have very low skill for that to happen, but healing staves can miss in that game, which is really just. I don't even know who thought that was a good idea. So okay, what you doing? You are. I mean, I hope they both go for Lapis. Because I've got that dual guard. Because I really don't want, Yunaka getting hit. Okay, good, they are both going for Lapis. So yeah, using a flyer and bondage shield means you can generally provoke the snipers into attacking them.
I'll protect you.
Oh, that's a brave sword. I was like, why is Lapis hitting double? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's a brave sword. Makes sense. Like, her speed isn't, like, totally ridiculously incredible, but it's still good enough to probably avoid getting doubled by a generic hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, these enemy staff users have a lot of accuracy on their staffs. And again, what is your priority? If you had done that before the hero attacked, the hero wouldn't have taken damage. It's weird. But yeah, you've got reinforcements coming from where these guys are retreating to. So that's, I think, generally, like, what's, like, they're supposed to be running over there and trying to, I believe Leif actually does raise the bridges once you get to a certain point in the map as well, which I think is also a reference to something that happened in the original Thracia. It has been a while since I played Thracia. In fact, I think I only played it, like, once in my whole life. I am incredibly tempted to do an entrap play here. So if I do this, I mean, actually, really, Lapis gets holdout, and nothing else here can attack her. So technically speaking, Lapis is totally safe down here. Just need to make sure, yep, you definitely die, that's good. That's enough out of you, Ballista. One Ballista down, many to go. Yeah, it still had one shot left. Well, Lapis isn't safe if she goes into range of that hero, but still. Yeah, next step is probably... I mean, a bunch of things are going to run into Yunaka if I do that, and that might aggro, like, everything, and might even make Leif raise the bridge, so maybe it's for the best if I just snipe you and then run. Actually, that's what I was looking for. Thracia's OST, to me, is by far the most forgettable OST in the series. It's really just this theme and the first map theme of Thracia, and everything else is just generic military fanfares that all blur together in my head. Okay, there is Emblem energy. The reason why I'm going for Jean's engage here is because I might need Alchrist, Louis, and Amber to kill off any enemies that are pulled up here due to entrap.
I'll go first.
Stay focused.
In fact, was this the map theme that played on this map? Because if it was, then it'd explain why it's one of the more memorable ones for me. Here's the problem. I have forgotten the range on the entrap staff. So I'm kind of just going to have to estimate. Convoy. Put that back, swap you out for... Ivy can't even use entrap because her staff rank isn't high enough, and if I'd done Micaiah's paralog, I would be able to use staffs up to A, but I can't. Okay. Well, at least I know it's only 1 to 6 range, just like Freeze is. But I believe Freeze just prevents moving, it doesn't prevent attacking, so you'd still be able to use the Ballista if I froze you. Actually, knowing that... I think this is better. Ivy, restore staff Aaliyah to get rid of silence.
So kind of you.
Then I think Aaliyah, because he can definitely use all staves, because Martial Master has an S in staves, he should be able to go down here, get Entrap out of the convoy. Oh, that is not a good hit rate. Well, I'll try. Nope! Well, yep, that cunning plan was doomed from the start, and now Ivy's getting shot by a Ballista. Okay, yeah, apologies, but I've just, time rewound a little bit, just because, yeah, it just feels like, I really want to see if there's a way that I can get rid of this other sniper. Okay, Ivy has rewarp, I should be able to do it with that. Like, for example, if I put in a couple of people who I do want to send further into the map, like these two. Ivy engages with Micaiah. Yeah, she does still have rewarp.
Grant me strength.
And victory, hopefully. So, yeah, if I use rewarp, then we're all going down here, I think. Wait, I want to make absolutely sure that there is a tile in range of that sniper unoccupied. Just to make sure that if, for some reason, everybody who had expended their turn happened to, like, end up here and here, then I wouldn't be able to attack the sniper, but okay. Let's, 3% crit is a little annoying, though. But I'm gonna need to brave this, because I want this Ballista gone. And that's Ballista 2 of many. Yes, that sniper, his head is now lying in the water, which is a horrible fate to wish on anyone. But on the Fabrications manning the snipers, I will make an exception. So, just a quick, yeah, none of those things have range to me anymore. And I suppose I can let Louis take this one. In fact, yeah, it'll finally finish off that level, because he barely avoided leveling up in the arena.
Was that sufficient?
I was worried for a second that was like 1 damage off killing, but it wasn't. And, okay, speed. I do like the fact that he's kind of getting that overkill defense that he's remembered for, though. And now, yeah, we've got basically this whole area is, I have to watch out for just randomly getting silenced. But apart from that, this whole area is mostly fine now. So it is safe for us to move ahead, but it won't be like that for long, because we're going to have to deal with even more ballistas. Yeah, this is one of the paralogs. They're on Maddening. I basically just noped out at this. I didn't even attempt this one on Mad. I mean, I attempted it once. I then saw that Louis got two-shot, like a fully defensive Louis got two-shotted by the ballistas, and then I was just like, no. And I didn't even want to try. But, like, for apparently most people just cheese this one, I assume by either warp skipping it or, like, entrap staffing Leif. So, apparently people have been looking forward to me doing this one quote-unquote legit, because so few people do actually do this map legit. Both of them are on woods. Oh, right, they've both run out of their staves. Yeah, I think those ones actually have less uses than the versions of those staves that you have access to. Yeah, only 3 uses, rather than the 5 of the ones we get. So I suppose they do kind of balance that out. But this means I don't need to worry about attacking those enemies at all, because they're no longer any threat to me. I don't even think they're worth that much experience. Still a little weird to me that I've never needed to use Great Sacrifice since I got Micaiah back.
Divine One.
But I guess it just shows how much more capable my army is now. I do have one more use of Bondage Shield left. Can I start sniping generals with Byleth engaged? That would be really funny if I could. Well, yeah, I can start sniping... Oh, only with Thoron. And I don't even get to one-shot you unless I use Aaliyah. But now I should be able to... Yep, there we go. The Thoron, the Thunder Sniper Rifle.
Should I have held back?
I mean, that's, in a sense, that's kind of like what siege tomes are. Oh, there we go. Finally, that worked. Yeah, you get unique text for that. Found lost item and returned it. But as I said in Byleth's, like, second bio, I feel like that's mostly just, like, a joke skill rather than anything actually useful. It raises support points, but unlike Corrin's face-touching reference, it doesn't even, like, have any secondary effect. It just raises support points. And it's only, like, +1 support point, which is not a lot in the scheme of things. Oh yeah, we do have cavalry coming in. I suppose I could fish for a stiletto crit against you, because Yunaka's damage output's, like, that's fallen a little behind lately. Well, I guess I can actually... Oh, and you're a sword armor, so you don't actually break me. I was thinking, wait, no, I get broken for that. But no, you're a sword armor. So, yeah, I was thinking I'd have to use the mini bow, but the Manikadi is still kind of bad, even against armored enemies. Because Manikadi. It's actually a pretty good sword in Lin's original game, though. And I still wish I knew that it gets fully repaired after the end of Lin's story. Because I used to conserve it during Lin's story, but now I know that you don't need to worry about that at all. And, well, here comes a bajillion generals and other things. That's a lot of units. In fact, now might be a very good time for either a Micaiah freeze, or... Clan is like... Where is Clan? Okay, there he is. Actually, I probably can get a pretty nice, chain of, Dreadful Aura freezes going.
Here we go.
This is also going to be a pretty good time to use Roy's engage attack as well, because that'll make an area of fire that will slow things down, of course. Lapis is, yeah, she's a bit far from the action here. Oh, it also might be a good time to use Goddess Dance. So there's a lot of options that I have here, but here's the idea. If I go Corrin engage, I wasn't really expecting Corrin to be Clan's main emblem, but it's worked really well. Okay, I'm equipping Hellfire. See, if I Torrential Roar here, out of the way! It only kills one of them, but it is going to freeze a lot. And also create, avoid lowering terrain. Yeah, because it triggers Dreadful Aura on every single one, so that's going to freeze all 3 of you. Well, that's less a lot than I was kind of hoping, but still, it's definitely better than nothing. And you can either dart back, or maybe... Yeah, because, okay, the 3 of those things are frozen. But there's also quite a lot of enemies incoming, and also we're going to be entering Ballista range very soon. Although I would very much like to get Amber in on the action. He should probably strut his stuff in this parallel, given that this is like the final part of... I don't know if he'll ever get enough SP, though, for the true build that I want to run on him.
Emblem,
now, I can be helpful against the ballistas because, you know, it outright halves damage. I like that I can outright destroy you with this, though.
You'll get no sympathy from
Momentum has been much better on Amber than I kind of expected it to, because I kept saying that, oh, you know, he only, you know, he doesn't like... He often attacks from standing still, so it doesn't really make, like, a whole ton of difference, but, when you really think about it, though, he often has needed those extra few points of damage. Now, if I were to refresh Clan, I could have him attack that one with and freeze you, and you. Because the cavalry down here, they don't quite have as much movement as you might think. As long as they all attack Amber, I'm probably fine. So it's really just you and them. Okay, rare footage of Louis actually doubling something. This isn't really useful since you're already frozen, but it does clear the way a little.
You were beautiful while you lasted.
Yeah, in spite of the fact that my army's pretty strong at this point, definitely still having a bit of a time with these maps. Oh, if only I was able to canter you right there. Okay. Ivy could go for an area freeze on, and that just means freezing those 2. Let's try that. Okay. See, the good thing about Micaiah Freeze is that I believe it only rolls accuracy for the initial target, so as long as it hits the initial target, everything adjacent gets frozen. This is really useful for freezing or entrapping bosses. I've seen this done to Roy in Roy's paralog. If you target the general next to him with Entrap with Micaiah, rather than Roy himself, you can quite easily do this, because like if one of them gets entrapped, everything in the area gets entrapped. I've also got Alcrest doubles to fall back on if I need it, and I may need it. So yeah, everything except that is frozen. So if I like Thunder, I believe though I still freeze you even if I miss. Okay, I hit anyway, so that's nice. And also frozen. And then you hop back one, except... yeah, the avoid terrain affects me just as much as it affects the enemies. So how dangerous are you? 43 attack power versus defensive. Actually, surprisingly high defense there. And it's not like he gets doubled. You could attack Jean with a spear, but... Oh, he has Thoron equipped. And besides, Aaliyah can chain guard both of them. Right now, I'm just deciding whether or not I call doubles. Although, some of them are probably just going to get killed by the frozen enemies if I do that. Oh, you can attack Clan, despite being frozen. Okay, I may need to kill you. But that's in range of a ballista, isn't it? I may need to try this, though.
Now it's my turn.
Yeah, he does have that allied defense, which I believe increases your own defense rather than raises the defense of adjacent allies.
Why do we repeat our mistakes?
Well, hopefully I haven't made a huge mistake here. Let's... Yeah, there's quite a few things that can attack him from there. So I only get one double if I do this. But I might actually have to summon the doubles. Just to give the enemy something else to kill. And since I only have one more turn of engage on Micaiah, I think I will use Great Sacrifice.
This means survival.
So hey, we finally are getting to use this. Yeah, not going to give great experience because it didn't really heal all that much, but it was mostly to top off Yunaka. So, okay. Oh, right, you can't even hurt Louis anyway. Again, Louis putting in work even this late. Because, yeah, even though his offense is falling behind a little bit without emblems, his defense is ridiculous, and, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a lot, although I believe Ike doesn't actually, like, halve those. I seem to remember, like, Ike not halving the magic turret from from the ship chapter. Or at least people in the comments telling me that Ike doesn't halve the magic turret's damage, so maybe it doesn't halve that ballista either. I really hope that's not the case, because otherwise, that ballista would have been doing, like, over 40 base damage to Amber. Yeah, let me guess, yeah, most of the enemies here are not promoted. But that fabrication sniper is a pain. So I have already used up my bondage shields. And now there are a ton of enemies. But I can freeze a lot of them with clan again.
Alright.
Although right now, this is an excellent time for Great Ether. Really, like, if there was any time for Great Ether, now would be the time for it. And as long as Louis doesn't really go into range of any of the ballistas, he should be okay-ish. See, the weird thing is, I'm actually not too concerned about the generals. I normally snipe them with Jean, but I'd much rather focus on sniping the Bow Knights.
Stay focused.
They're way more likely to be an actual threat to me. And then I think I'll dance for you so you can snipe something else. And that something else will be another Bow Knight.
Should I have held back?
No, you should not have. We do not need to hold back at all in this paralogue. Holding back in this paralogue is a recipe for a massive, massive death. I guess Yunaka can take you out. I'm just kind of skipping through animations here just because I sort of want to focus on the whole puzzle that is all of these enemies here existing. Okay, with a Thunder on you, I can freeze that group of 3. And because you're one of the unpromoted chumps, I have 100% hit on you. Also, it's kind of cool they have blue hair. And yeah, you jump back a little. Yeah, so they're all frozen. So that's going to make things a lot more manageable up here, because I believe... Hopefully, no, Louis can't actually finish that. Unless I use the Brave Lance, that's a possibility. Yikers, I do not like these ballistas. They're just horrifying. Like, absolutely horrifying to go up against. They really are basically just nuclear warheads. Okay, please hit your second attack. Thank you. Yeah, that looked very much like a kill animation, him jumping back like that, so... Yeah, I was confident that would work. So now... If I go here... Yeah, so if I go here, then I die because you have a spear equipped. So maybe it's better if I... Let's see, so you got the spear, you do not have the spear equipped. New idea. Alcris will need to move away, though, somehow. I guess if somehow I can fish for loot here. Okay, there's one.
I won't miss.
And that was a non-real crit, so it's, yeah, barely going to do anything. But hey, he did pretty well against that. For just a throwaway combat that I didn't really care about, that was pretty strong. But yeah, so the idea here now is that if Ivy uses the fire on you...
Here we go.
Because these generals are not part of a reinforcement group, so once they're gone, I won't need to deal with any more of them. Not really gaining speed still. And yeah, so now, without anything else being able to attack Anna from here, I can probably afford to do this. It would be nice if you dodge this incoming spear, though, just saying. No, you did not. I like how you have that feather effect from Celica's Seraphim. And yeah, I had a feeling that would be a level up. And more magic, nice. Also, she does tend to cap out Dex as a warrior, so we might be seeing that happen pretty soon. Okay, do you still have, like, any... Oh, you just have... You have regular heal. I kind of want to heal Amber, though, because he is in ballista range.
My life!
Yeah, we might actually owe, Amber might owe Aaliyah his life now. Yeah, the problem is that we've got all of them incoming, so if Lapis, like, flies down here and is expected to endure the ballista with her Roy holdout, I suppose she can fly in, whack the sniper, and then fly, and then canter away. I just basically need to make sure that she can't get attacked by anything else, because she'll be definitely down to 1 HP. But I do really want that ballista gone. Now it's just these other 2 ballistas, because they're covering a lot of the area around Leif. She's at full health, so she should be getting holdout here. I suppose I can engage just for the better stats on enemy phase from Rise Above. I don't think it's going to help all that much due to their enormous hit rate, but still. Okay, well, technically that's the best evasion that I've got here. Okay, so you're all frozen, and you're going to shoot. Yep, 57 damage with 100% accuracy. So, yeah, she gets taken down to 1. And that would be on... Yeah, 18 damage to Louis, who I'm pretty sure has the best defense of my entire army. And even more are coming. Okay, that kills one thing. That was a promoted enemy, though. So it's better than... It is better than I kind of hoped it would be.
Don't worry about me.
If I do this, I get cancer. 1, 2... Yeah, I don't think anything except that sniper will be able to attack her, and the sniper will be dead. Which takes out some of the pressure.
I have faith in the goodness of humankind.
But I have faith in the deathness of ballistas. Okay, good, yeah, so she can now just fly. Oh, she can even go here and she'll be safe.
Now, destroy the bridge!
There we go, that's the trigger. It's not totally impassable, but it is very difficult terrain, and it reduces avoid by 30. It's basically the same as like the water tiles that Corrin summons. Okay. I think I know what I'm banking on here. I'm gonna bank on getting Aaliyah back to one of those tiles, so he gets Lucina back, and then I can just straight up go and with the lower ballista down, I can probably afford to send some more people in here to fight these cavalry. The only real risky thing about doing this before was the fact that there was a ballista here, but there is no longer a ballista here. But we still have the 2 ballistas to the north around Leif.
That was a cinch!
There are 2 health bars on the, like, 1,000 gold bosses. Like, as cool as it would be to show off getting them, also you've got 1,000 gold as well, I probably need to use, like, a Micaiah warp or rewarp to do that. Although I suppose there is the rest of the Emblem energy is in range of ballistas, though. And I think let's position Louis down here. Yeah, the Rapier combined with the ignoring 30% of defense with Erica
Why do we repeat our mistakes?
does make it surprisingly strong for how low might it has. Well, when hitting a weakness, basically. I think it's actually that what part of this song reminds me of is Arvis's theme from Genealogy, which kind of fits given that Syas is, I hesitate to call this a spoiler since it's, like, not really hugely relevant to anything, but Syas, that legendary tactician, is actually Arvis's illegitimate child. His mother is an NPC from Genealogy who everyone thought was just a generic NPC, but it turned out she was the mother of a... Like, Thracia actually was pretty nice with the callbacks like that. Like, there's a playable Pegasus, like, Falcon Knight, like, you can recruit in Thracia, who is the child of, like, one of the bosses from Genealogy's first generation. Just a character you never really would have thought of as an actual, well, character. Until Thracia reveals that, hey, they had a child. Okay, I believe Leif is well and truly aggroed now. So the fun thing I like to do here, you can probably already see what it is. The line's been a little broken up, but the fun thing I like to do is to make a Mage Knight shish kebab with Sigurd, with his override. Yep, that entire area is ballista range. My safest bet is probably just to straight up use Amber down here. Now I'll just go for crits.
My legend
But yeah, it's surprising how often those extra points of damage on Amber with momentum matter. I kind of doubt any of you here can really do much damage to him. And I do heal as well, so I'm probably fine to do this. And it's not going to give me a lot of experience, but still.
We have you all to thank for this.
Yeah, when I tried the Brave Lance Erica combination in my first playthrough, it was on Tamara, and it did not work very well. Well, I mean, I suppose I can just chip you with the Javelin and then retreat with Canter, just for a little bit of experience. I do not have the +++ version of Holdout yet. I probably should be investing some Bond Fragments into Lapis and Roy. I kind of figured that because I'd be fighting a lot with my Roy user, I wouldn't need to invest Bond Fragments because they would just naturally max out their Bond level. But this late into the game, I kind of need Roy's higher tier abilities. Speaking of higher tier abilities... Oh, you actually do have Sigurd. Okay, that's gonna be, alright. So, I'll need to remember that I have access to that, because, I would love to do the Mage Knight Shish Kebab. Actually, if I was to dance for you... Oh, yeah, no, it's level 23. You're still a little bit off before he gets his special dancing skill. Yeah, so what's the actual range on all of you? There's a lot of Thorons in here, so don't expect that you'll be able to counterattack these guys. I'll just move you up there.
To the death.
Hopefully not to the death. So, would you all please get into a big line? That would be nice. Like I said, I doubt any of the other enemies can really hurt Louis at the moment. And you're going to go for the... No, that's not even a break. Okay, and I one-shot you.
I will be a hero.
And I triple one-shot you.
You'll get no sympathy from me.
Not really sure why you decided to do that, but I will not question it. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, I don't get broken, because I don't take damage. So, yeah, a nice showing of the fact that if you have to... Even if, like, you're not in a class that's immune to break, you have to take damage to get broken. It's just like the poison effect. I really wish that's how it worked with the Seal skills in Fire Emblem Fates, especially Defense Seal. Oh, they're splitting up. Please tell me that Leif isn't gonna... No, he's going in a pretty bad direction, actually. Huh. But yeah, this is about where I want the Mage Knight Shish Kebab. I don't... Like, can I actually get down that far? Oh, I actually can. Oh, I actually can! Oh, this is so tempting. This is just insanely tempting. It's probably not exactly a smart idea, because there's like... I think she'd get hit by 2 ballistas. No, the second ballista wouldn't be able to reach her. It's just... I know this isn't really smart, but... I really want to see if I can make this work, just because it's really funny. Da-da-da-da-da!
Here I come.
Here I come! It's Mage Knight Shish Kebab time! I would love to have been able to do this in Thracia. So yeah. I've actually done that to more of them. I think I've hit like... In my first playthrough, they lined up to the extent that I could hit like 8 of them with 1 override, and that was amazing. And also I get Canter because you actually have Sigurd. Okay, there is this place Anna can go and snipe you without getting ballisted. It's just, I do not want Jean to get ballisted for obvious reasons. And I think Yunaka should be fine to get... Well, if she gets hit by the ballista and both the mate. In fact, does the ballista one-shot her? I wouldn't be surprised if that ballista does, in fact, one-shot her. Because that's just how the ballistas be on this map. Oh, and you didn't even kill anyway. So I think I can snipe you down with the javelin and then move away.
Whatever you require.
Louis has to not get in range of any of the Mage Knights, though, which is easier said than done. I mean, if it's just Thoron, it's not the worst thing in the world because that can't double. But it's probably better if I have clan attack here. It's just my main worry is I do have rescue, and I haven't used Sea Doll yet. So theoretically, I could rescue, like with Ivy. I mean, you don't have rescue though, so I'd need to pull it out of the convoy with Aaliyah. And that looks like the furthest tile Aaliyah can go and still not get hit by the ballista.
I hear you.
And now convoy, getting a lot of use out of the convoy in this map. Rescue. So how far can I rescue from here? Okay, I'm just gonna do this just to see if I can, like, because Amber will be able to kill that upper Mage Knight if I do that. The question there is, will he get shot by 2 ballistas? I think he just barely gets shot by 2 ballistas. And then there's also, ooh, quadruple hit does a lot. But from there, he doesn't get quadruple hit. Apparently he doesn't get quadruple hit. But I might get crit by the Light Brand. But from here, again, thanks to momentum. In fact, maybe not even thanks to momentum. Yeah, no, I would have one-shot it anyway. But my idea is that I get to snipe away that Thor on Mage Knight. And then, yeah, it doesn't say that he's gonna quadruple hit. Because, yeah, he has to be in melee to do quadruple hit. Oh, that's a silver sword. Okay. So that's less of a threat than other things. But okay, now I need to Dancify Ivy. And then rescue Yunaka. Rescue has 8 range. So that is the bare minimum that I can still rescue her from. And for once, the rescue staff is actually doing what its name implies and rescuing someone from danger rather than warping somebody closer to the enemy, which is how the majority of players use the rescue staff. And yeah, nobody else can... Is Amber the only person who can actually get attacked right now? I think so. Just please don't get crit. Please don't crit Amber. Please don't crit Amber. Hopefully that's okay. Oh, he even gets countered too. And then it's just the silver sword, which is probably fine. Yeah, he does nothing. But of course, Leif does chain attack. And yeah, those reinforcements, they just kind of come, they just keep on coming.
This isn't so bad.
This isn't so bad. I've only almost died to Mage Knight. Well, actually, no, Louis hasn't really almost died. Ah, really? But I might be able to just chip you down with a longbow a little bit.
I hope this is enough.
Or actually kill you, because Alchrist lived up to his nickname of all crits. Okay. Potentially weird plan. I trust Anna's HP to be enough to take a ballista shot, which is really a really weird thing to say, but she has 50. So if you chip that down, and then Louis, well, we'll definitely be able to do it thanks to Draconic Hex. Louis can run in and finish the job with the spear.
First one free!
Why is it that Amber was taking 50 damage from quadruple hit before, and now he's taking a lot less? You also do need to remember that Leif has Vantage. That can easily come back to bite you if you forget about it. Oh, that's why I'm taking way less damage. Resolve. And I'm getting Resolve on every hit of quadruple hit. That's probably why I'm taking so much less damage. So maybe I actually shouldn't heal Amber.
That settles it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that way, but yeah, maybe it's actually best if I don't. See, quadruple hit's doing way less because I have that +7. I have to be below 75%. And quadruple hit kills you. Question, can I freeze him? I mean, there's a chance. Oh, Jean hasn't acted yet. Jean will be a better person to go for the freeze because I have Divinely Inspiring. I have Divine Pulse. Okay, there we go. He's frozen. So don't need to worry about him coming after anyone yet. Which means that Yunaka can just poison him and take down his health a little bit. Yep, there's Vantage.
Allow me.
I suppose Freeze is sort of an equivalent to the Sleep Staff from Thracia. Sleep was really dangerous in Thracia because sleeping characters can get automatically captured by enemies. And if an enemy captures one of your characters, you lose their entire inventory. Unless you can capture the enemy back in return. I mean, technically capture is a fair mechanic because you can do the same thing to enemies as well, but and it's just always, I don't know what it was about Reinhardt's AI that made it that when I first played this map in Thracia, he captured Leif instead of killing him. Like, it's kind of in character for Reinhardt, but it's still really, it's really interesting to think about. I'm not really sure why his AI decided to do that. You're going for Louis, right? No? Yeah, okay. Like I said, I do trust Anna to take that, but that's a lot of damage. And yeah, I don't care about you anymore. Yep, still reinforcements. Did any... I want to say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if any Thracia maps had infinite reinforcements, because that would just be a very Thracia thing to do. Do I, like, try and, like, use up a warp staff? Because I think, yeah, Aaliyah has one. Lapis, maybe? Also 69 quadruple hit. And you've switched to the Master Lance because, yeah, you basically can't break Leif without a Fracture Staff. I'm concerned about that 5% crit rate, but in practice, that's 5% of 35%, so that's really low odds. The thing is that plus Seedol plus Aaliyah Warp, I should be able to have Lapis kill that Ballista. I don't think I'll be able to get all of the gold in this map, but at the very least, I want to kill the one, like, Ballista Sniper that has gold. Because just out of petty revenge. Okay, now you have a high version of Holdout. No, I think yeah, it's probably safest if I keep you there. In fact, you were just barely in range of Seedol. And, okay, Warp, nope, not attack. Staff, Warp. That's not even in range, is it? I mean... I could do something really, really silly here. It just feels like such a waste of staff uses, but if I rescue and then warp, maybe she will be in range. Yeah, that moves her a little closer. If this is still not in range, I'm going to be mad. Oh, I think that is in range.
I'm okay.
You, Sir Sniper, are going to die on principle. Just because I hate the ballistas on this map that much.
Don't waste my time.
That cost me 1 warp and 1 rescue use. For only 1,000 gold. Probably not worth it, but again, the revenge. The revenge is worth it. Well, I can gonna get rid of his health bar with this. I have Divine Pulse, so this should probably hit. Yep, there's Divine Pulse. So that would have missed. Yeah, I think something that I haven't actually mentioned about the first time you fight Hortensia is that her first attack is scripted to always miss and always trigger Divine Pulse. So that's, even if it has 100% hit, I don't know why it does that, but like, it does that just to demonstrate how Divine Pulse works. It's kind of a weird way of doing it, but it's cool too. Speaking of cool, I like the way that ballistas look on the map. That's the only thing that I like about them here, but yeah. Just for good measure, so that I get to actually do this.
My apologies. Maybe I'll be protected.
Okay, wow, Celica quotes are... I mean, I shouldn't have expected any less from the legendary, hilarious dialogue Anna, but still, like, that's amazing. I assume it would be, like, Ivy who gets boss dialogue here, because she was the first one who used Leif. And nope, I have to do it with Amber. I can finish off that level in the arena anyway. So okay, let's just see if I can Ike engage for good measure. And in fact, since Leif has Vantage, there's kind of no reason for me not to use the Silver Great Axe, because Leif is striking first anyway. Oh, maybe there is, because he'll get both of his attacks in. before me, so less chance of getting double crit. So yes, I will in fact, of course I'm gonna attack from beside Aaliyah because that gives me a support bonus. And that's a guaranteed hit, there we go.
I'll go first. Hope this looks cool.
And so, I lose.
Oh yeah, if Leif ever crits you in this map, by the way, his critical quote is really bizarre, and people to this day have been trying to work out why he says it. He says, "I feel as if I've known you for ages," as his critical line. I have no idea why that's his crit quote, but it is.
You have become stronger since we first met, my friend.
Oh boy, yeah, you need to be really strong to take this one on. Yeah, I feel like I'm over-leveled, and that map was absolutely heart-pounding.
I feel like I've still got a long way to go. I appreciate your guidance.
Guidance. An interesting word choice. I believe I understand now why the trial was located here.
Oh? Why?
Because it was like one of the hardest maps in Fire Emblem history in its original game?
I was a young prince, inexperienced in leading an army. My errors were many, some fatal.
Yeah, an interesting thing about Thracia is it's one of the few games to have a defeat is near theme that will replace the player phase theme if somebody dies.
On the day of this battle, I was told something I've kept in my thoughts ever since. Once blood is spilled, it cannot return to its source. Make that sacrifice worth something. Life is a series of choices. There is no way for one to know if their past choices were correct or a mistake. All we can do is make the future into something good and righteous. We must strive for that. Such is the responsibility of a guide. And it is what I learned in a place so like this one.
So after I played through this the first time in Engage, I looked up the translated script of Thracia, and yeah, what Leif says here is pretty much a faithful recreation of what, I'm pretty sure it was August, says to him at the start of this chapter.
Thank you, Leif, for sharing your story with me. I feel like I understand more than before. I will work to build a good future. And you'll be beside me until the end of this war?
Here, on the shores of this beautiful river, I swear my service to you.
And that service comes in the form of mainly a better version of Vantage. Leif caps out most notably at build +5, but also defense +3 and HP +7. His higher bond levels simply give him better versions of his existing sync skills. Vantage Plus raises the threshold to 50% HP or less, and Vantage Plus boosts it to a pretty high by the standards of Vantage in Fire Emblem, 75% HP or less. And at bond level 16 you get Arm Shield Plus, which reduces damage by 7 instead of 5. For reasons, I had to cover the Bond 15 weapon, Light Brand, in Leif's previous bio because it's so important to quadruple hits, but in theory, it's a very good weapon. A 15 might, 20 crit, 1 to 2 range magic sword is pretty good. The problem is there aren't a lot of characters who really appreciate it and Leif's other Engage weapons, which are all physical. Leif's main inheritance claim to fame, his proficiencies, are all in his lower bond levels, so what do his higher ones offer? Well, it's really just knife precision and Vantage Plus and Plus. I consider this disappointing. Don't get me wrong, the stronger Vantages are incredible if you're doing a Wrath build, and they're fairly cheap for what they are. It's just, with the sheer hell you have to go through just to unlock Leif's higher bond levels, I wish more units could enjoy the benefits. So, my raw time, as of this recording, is 1 hour and 25 minutes, which is longer than any pure chapter has taken me. Probably a lot of that is going to get cut. I'm curious to find out how much I can cut that down to, because oh boy, I didn't expect this to take me that long. But yeah, this map it's definitely really brutal, and like the reward for it isn't like that spectacular apart from just...
Utterly astounding!
Yes, utterly astounding. Apart from the bragging rights and having access to better versions of Vantage. So yeah. If you want to use like a Super Vantage Wrath Panette combo, you kind of have to beat this map as early as possible, and that's ridiculous. But okay, my thoughts on Thracia, also, yeah, you sure did a number of them. I'm so glad I got to pull off the Mage Knight Shish Kebab. I love doing that so much. It's just like, boom, 4 of them just impaled on one lance. And I've done better. I'm sure I've got like 8 of them at least, on at least one playthrough before. But yeah, Thracia. I honestly don't have a whole ton to say about Thracia. It's a game that I've only really played once, and I haven't actually beaten it before. I stopped at Chapter 24X, and those of you who played Thracia will probably know why. Chapter 24X is so bad, like, the gimmick of that chapter is so brutal that the fan translations had to add new dialogue. Because normally fan translations like to keep things faithful. They decided that it was justified to outright add new dialogue to that chapter just to explain the gimmick. Because the gimmick is not explained to you in the original, and it can, like, lose you units. Basically, there are invisible warp tiles on that map that put people in inescapable rooms with berserkers, with wrath, and if you don't have any warp or rescue staves, you cannot retrieve your allies from those rooms, and because it's an escape chapter, anybody who does not escape the map when Leif does is considered dead.
Word, please.
So it's just like, yeah, I'm sure it's very justified. The fan translations added new dialogue there to actually explain the gimmick, because, yeah. Imagine having to go through that with zero explanation. It is an optional chapter, admittedly, but it does give payoff to a certain story beat from very early in Thracia, so you are kind of encouraged to do it. It's sort of a subplot that's been going on for the entire game. But, anyway, speaking of which, I actually do think Thracia... See, this is the thing. I haven't experienced Thracia with the newer, like, more modern fan translations, which from the looks of it are very good. They seem like some of the best fan translations out there. There are, admittedly, there's actually a little bit of, like, drama and politics regarding the fan translations. So I believe there's 2, like, Project Exile and Little Munster, or Little Manster. I forget which one, like, localization it goes with. But yeah, they're both considered quite good, but they had a pretty, like, intense rivalry and not exactly a friendly one, and there was a lot of drama and again, politics between the creators of those patches, so yeah, if I did play Thracia, I'm not sure which one I'd end up using. They both seem pretty good, though. They're both very similar. But the original fan translation of Thracia is very infamous. Unfortunately, I never played the original fan translation, the one where an "In America" reference somehow slipped through the cracks. But then there were even earlier fan translations that broke down even harder, like the infamous "Tufruru." But gameplay-wise, Thracia is very interesting to me. It was the last game made by Shozor Kaga, but it was also the game that I feel set the template for the entire rest of the series. Of all of the Japan-only Fire Emblem games, well, except maybe Binding Blade, I feel like Thracia is the closest to modern Fire Emblem, in terms of its design philosophy, in terms of how its combat works, in terms of its map design. Yeah, like I said, there is a decent amount of jank with, you know, certain things, like the poisoning and stuff. Oh yeah, status ailments never wear off unless you use a restore staff, by the way, so if somebody gets put to sleep, and sleep also forcibly dismounts any mounted units too, which you're expected to know in order to recruit a certain character or one of the... There's a very brief route split. In fact, yeah, speaking of things that influence modern Fire Emblem, Thracia was the first Fire Emblem game to have a route split. It only lasted for like 2 chapters, I think, and it didn't really affect the overall plot very much, but it was kind of cool conceptually. It was sort of the decision between whether you go for the honor before reason approach and just charge the front gates of a certain heavily defended castle, or if you go for the sneaky approach. The sneaky approach is easier, but a little less rewarding. Oh hey, I replaced that Levin sword that I wanted to give to Yunaka that I threw in the well, so let's give her that now. Yeah, her attack power is not great with that, but hitting on resistance is, it's kind of like almost a mini Anna Radiant Bow. And like, the actual, like, characters all felt like, there's not really, like, the balancing in Thracia I don't feel is super great. I do think it did a good job of having, like, every stat cap at 20 and making the gameplay still feel fun in spite of that. Thracia also, I feel, got, like, Est's rights. Like, Sarah, she joins very late and at a very low level, but because she has excellent staff utility, has ridiculous growths, and has Paragon to sort of use those ridiculous growths, and she's also a very interesting character in the lore, too, so there are a lot of incentives to use her. She's also the only character who can use that one staff that's required to get that Chapter 24X paralogue. She's great. I always used to think, I think people don't like Carrion anymore. I used to think Carrion was pretty good, because he gets a sword with Paragon as well. I think, wait, no. I was about to say Thracia was the first Fire Emblem game to, the funny thing is, despite the earlier Fire Emblem games having a reputation for being ridiculously hard, none of the Kaga games had a hard mode, and in fact, all of them had unlockable easy modes via cheat codes. Well, not all of them, but the only difficulty modes were unlockable easy modes via cheat codes. So Thracia had an unlockable Paragon mode where every character got double experience. And I think Gaiden also had an unlockable easy mode. I mean, a sort of a cheat code easy mode. So kind of a radically different design philosophy to how difficulty is done in modern Fire Emblem. But yeah, the map design is pretty fun. There are a lot of janky mechanics, but there are also things like movement stars that, while janky, like, there are random chance of characters being able to move again, like, as if they got affected by a dancer. Speaking of which, how you get your dancer in Thracia is a really weird guide, dang it, and that's another aspect of it that I don't feel has aged the best. But overall, I do think Thracia has aged surprisingly well.
Actually won!
Ah,
I shall serve as your opponent today.
please don't be a mage.
I'm Citrine, a royal soldier of Brodia.
Well, it's a weak mage.
How satisfying.
And yeah, because that was a weak mage, I didn't get a level up. Well, I suppose I can try and get Lapis a level up.
I'm Lapis, a royal soldier of Brodia.
Let's try not to hurt each other, okay?
Okay, potentially this will be good because Jorn's
The
high
sparring
level.
match.
Well, yeah, a lot of experience. Holy crap. Okay, so I did get some vindication in the arena, and Wyvern Knight is buffing up Lapis' strength a little. Speaking of buffing up her strength a little, I do think I want to train her with Roy a little bit, just to get more of those holdouts. Oh, yeah, she has cap resistance now. Yeah, caps actually do somewhat matter in Engage. You are relatively likely to reach a lot of your caps before the end of the game. In fact, I actually will go all the way to 18. Oh no.
Well fought. I must train my skills.
Thanks for the sparring match.
Well, that was indeed well fought. She would have been one-shotted if she hadn't dodged there. I suppose Junaka can go to 10 with Sigurd.
Say, Sigurd, would you mind giving me a teensy peek at your priceless treasure of a weapon?
Sharp eye. This sword is indeed a treasured heirloom, passed down to me by my father.
Wow, actually, a model of the weapon during a long conversation. I didn't know that happened. But yeah, didn't Tearfing start out broken? I seem to remember that it was broken when his father gave it to him, and you had to rush back to a castle and pay gold to repair it. Taking Tamara to the Light Brand, which could be useful for her, or taking her higher with Sigurd. I think for now I will take you up to the Light Brand. Who gets this Speed Wing? I feel like it's too much favoritism to give it to Jorn, but at the same time, he's missed out on speed in a few level ups. And Sage has a lower speed growth, so he might need this to compensate. Okay, and I have Louis and Erica's A. Yeah, I've stopped my Thracia discussion because really, that's all I have to say on Thracia. It's an all-round solid game, and one day I definitely will want to go back to it.
Your guess before was surprisingly accurate. My friend was a princess and a Pegasus knight.
Yeah, that probably is Tana.
A winning combination, to be sure. I'd like to hear more about her, if you wouldn't mind. Discussing her with someone else might help to alleviate your loneliness. Tell me every detail.
There's some sense in that suggestion, but your enthusiasm is a bit off-putting.
I don't know if... Yeah... Because I know that Lynn and Florina are often shipped. I don't think Erica and Tana are shipped as much. Usually if Erica is in a same-sex ship, it tends to be La Rochelle, I think. But, yeah, I like Erica and Tana ending up as sisters-in-law because I like pairing her with Ephraim. Yeah. some people don't like the Tana and Ephraim pairing, but I personally think it's pretty nice. I've never really been a fan of pairing La Rochelle with anyone, honestly. Not that I don't really like her, the concept of her being paired with anyone, it's just that I don't really like most of her romantic supports. I'm not a huge fan of in that game. But anyway, yes, I am talking about Sacred Stones, not Thracia. Next time, we are going to be heading out to a very big set of chapters. Yes, instead of doing a second paralogue, I am going to do, because this was practically 2 paralogues, let's be honest, I am going to do chapters 21 and 22. Get ready for some very, very big plot episodes next time.